This is Taxi Vlog 284. It is the 28th of December. About a week ago, I had that time call in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning that went to the airport for $70 because the guy made me wait for half an hour and then he tipped me handsomely. And you know, I got home pretty tired at around 8 o'clock and I had something to eat and crashed, went straight to sleep, and then, you know, before I knew it, it was time to wake up and go to work again, and so I did. I woke up and got to work again. And once again, you know, like the Friday, which was non-stop until about 3 o'clock, the Saturday night, which was exactly a week ago, I guess it was the 21st. The solstice, yes it was the same thing. It was one right after another, right after another, right after another. As soon as I'd pick one up or drop one off, as soon as I'd be getting paid, this thing would be beeping at me and sending me on another chase to find another customer or whatever, till about, you know, the point where I was around 3 in the morning going, "Stop, have mercy, don't give me another trip for a little while, let me relax." Well, at 3:30 I got my wish. I started to read the book that I had brought with me. And you know how when the adrenaline's going, it keeps you going, but then when the adrenaline tap gets turned off, it's like there's no more energy left. And so I got really, really sleepy and really tired, really sleepy, and I was reclining my seat and closing my eyes. And earlier on in the evening, around I guess 10 or 11 o'clock, when I had a chance to talk to Cindy, she said she might come by, and then I thought, oh well, if she did come by, she missed me because I was too busy to sit and chat. But anyway, Cindy comes rolling up to me at 4 in the morning, and I'm sort of bleary-eyed and half aware, and she's saying she just went to Walmart and did some shopping, because at 4 in the morning at Walmart there is no lineup, there's nobody there, even though it's just for a few days. They have it open 24 hours before Christmas. So I said, you know what would you think if I came home with you? And sure enough, you know, so I cut my night a couple hours shorter, but I worked an extra couple hours the night before, so it balances, it evens itself out. So that was all good. And I went home, went straight to bed with Cindy, woke up some hours later hungry, and then had something to eat, and then went to sleep again. And I did a lot of sleeping the next 2 days off. I slept 12 hours a couple times, and I slept 6 hours a couple times, and in the evening, the Sunday evening, we went out to dinner, and it was to a fish and chip shop that Cindy likes. So we went there, and I even brought the camera, and I shot an intro saying, you know, this is the fish and chip place we're going to. And I was so tired that I forgot to shoot a food quick video of us having fish and chips. And the funny thing about that is that, you know, I wasn't going to see Cindy for a couple of weeks because we were on our way to the airport so that she could go to Alberta with her family, or to be with her family for these 2 weeks. So she's been gone for almost a week now, and I've had a lot of time to myself. Well, actually you need that. After dealing with customer after customer non-stop all night long, the last thing you want to do is see anyone in the morning. You might want to have something to eat, you might want to have a drink. You definitely want to go to sleep. And because you're kind of wired, like I am now, well, yeah. When you're kind of wired, you you get overtired and then you can't sleep very well or very long. I've been getting about 5 or 6 hours a day lately, if that. Now that's what I used to get when I didn't work very hard, but that's the same sleep I'm getting when I'm working hard, one after another. So I enjoyed my 2 days off, and I took the opportunity to do the dishes and edit a few videos and get caught up on things and what have you. I brought my computer tonight because I don't think it's going to be busy. It's a Saturday night, and New Year's is on Tuesday, so people have spent all their money and done all their partying for Christmas and that, and got that out of their system, and spent time with family, and there's going to be one last big push which they're saving themselves for on Tuesday night. Incidentally, I will be working. So I came to work Christmas Eve after being at home for 2 days, relaxing, taking it easy. And it was one right after another. And early on in the evening, I took someone to the airport because she was going to surprise her family back east for Christmas. She was going to show up Christmas Day on her mother's doorstep saying, "Guess what?" I thought it was really cute. And she even had a Santa suit that she was going to wear when she showed up. Then that night, that's Christmas Eve, there's about half the fleet out here, and so it was one right after another. The streets were barren. There were no cars anywhere, no traffic, so I could easily get around, and it was easy to make money Christmas Eve. In the morning, I had another run to the airport at the very end. What had happened was, Christmas Eve, I worked and worked and worked, and then at around, I guess, 3, it slowed down, and at 3:30, I had a call, and it was to the Denny's, and it was some woman I'd never seen before, and she said she was going to Rock Bay. Oh, okay, you're going to the prostitute row. I think they've made prostitution and soliciting legal now. I'm not sure, but whatever. We got to Rock Bay, and she said, "Oh, I forgot my money." And I said, "Just get out of here and Happy Christmas." I didn't say bitch, but I felt like it. Talk about peace on earth and goodwill and all that wonderful stuff. That's your peace on earth and goodwill that I got. So I was really tired, exhausted, and pissed off and just disgusted. And I looked at the outside of the car, and it was kind of dirty because they had put a lot of crap on the roads to keep it from icing up. Went through the car wash, and when I came out of the car wash at the other end, I didn't feel so bad. I thought I'd grab my book and read a few pages, waiting for one last call, which ended up being that 4 o'clock time call that went to the airport in the morning. So that was a real stroke. That was, had an awesome night. So then, Christmas Day night, I ended up working almost as hard. I went to the Western Communities a couple times. I went to Brentwood Bay one time, and I was more or less going non-stop once again, Christmas Day night. And that was the same kind of thing. It's becoming a blur which day was which. That would slow down at about 4 in the morning. About 5, between 4 and 5, I had about 3 fares. There weren't any long ones, but it was steady. I didn't have any great big fares, but I did well. I did like a Friday or a Saturday for the rest of the year, which was fine. Then Boxing Day night, that one was good too. It becomes a big blur because I was so busy. know, there may have been some memorable customers in there that either pissed me off. I noticed that there were a lot of crank calls, you know, people calling for a cab and then not being there. Or I had one call me and said, it was about 8 o'clock, and she says, I need you to take me to the ferries. When can you be here? I said, well, where are you? She said where she was. And I said, well, give me 10-15 minutes. I'm across town. She said, all right. Oh, can you be at such and such street corner at this and that, you know, in 15 minutes? I can make it there in 15 minutes. I said, well, all right, fine. If that's where you want to go, I'll pick you up there. And then, yeah. So I went there. No one showed up at that street corner, so it was a crank call. And we had another one, I think it was the same night, Christmas Eve night, where they needed a wheelchair van badly, or they needed a 6-passenger van badly for some woman who wanted to go across town, but she's not at all impressed with us because she booked online and didn't get her taxi. And she had been assured that she would get her 6-passenger taxi. Well, I said, okay, fine, you know, I'll go for it, even though it's across town. She's still waiting. And she said, yeah, she's still waiting. She said, I'll give her a heads up you're coming, and that you're being a rock star for doing this for us. So I start to drive across town, and my phone rings, and it's the dispatcher again saying that she had a bizarre call, that the customer said she's already in a Victoria taxi. Well, this kind of customer is the kind of customer that we do not need. And we've been getting a few of those in the last few months. But business in general is up. This month was like the good old days. This was like pre-recession. This was like the good old days. It's so busy that, you know, I think I've said this already earlier in this vlog, you know, I was begging the MDT to shut up and leave me some peace for a while, because it was almost too much. It was like 6 or 7 years ago during December when it was so busy that I would have to go home halfway through my shift for half an hour or an hour just to decompress and relax and take a breather, and then I could come back out and work again. Well, here we are in my part of town. I'm third in the zone. Where were we? Boxing Day night. Boxing Day night. That one was, yeah, one after another. Non-stop. Till, you know, 3:30 in the morning, whatever. Did I say that already? Now, last night, the Friday night, was no surprise. It started out real dead. There were cars piled up in every zone, and it took me an hour to get my first trip. And the guy said, after I dropped him off at the Tim Hortons so that he could get some coffee and donuts, he said, if you're still around in 5 minutes, I can call you and get a ride back. And I'm thinking, well, like, there's 6 cars ahead of me in zone. I said, well, what if I just wait here, and if I don't have a call before you come out, just take me back? So I got 2 fares for the price of 1, and then it started getting a little better and better and better. And then, you know, the night started getting pretty solid, and I had, well, for a Saturday it was slow naturally, but I had almost $300 on at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I was sitting there in the parking lot with a friend of mine. We were chatting about how the night was, and he said it was dreadful, terrible, but he's done well because he went from town to Langford, and from Langford back to town, and from town to Langford, and from Langford back to town again. And this is how he got his last $160 or so. And I'm going, well, that's wonderful. I said, I haven't had any long trips, but I've had steady trips. I've had $10 trips and $15 trips and $12 trips and a whole bunch of them, you know. And then I was picking up some women at Denny's. I don't know what it is about Denny's, but Denny's is getting worse all the time, especially lately. You know, when you get sent there and there's already 3 cars on top of the people at Denny's, that you're fixing to pick up. So, yeah, I picked up these two women. One of them was so drunk she was falling asleep in the seat behind me, and they wanted to go home, but first they wanted to go to the convenience store to get some cigarettes and soda pop. So the one who was more awake and more sober went into the store after grabbing money off her friend to go in there and get the cigarettes and soda pop. And she came back out saying, "I need 30 cents." She's telling her friend, "Hey, give me another 30 cents. I need 30 cents to finish paying the bill for this, for your stuff." And she's going, "Oh, leave me alone. I'm so tie-tie. I'm so tie-tie. Leave me alone. Let me sleep. I'm tie-tie." The expressions some people come up with. Anyway, I gave her the 30 fucking cents. So she went in the store, paid the 30 cents, and came back out. We got to their apartment building. The bill was $9.95 on the clock. Did they give me 10 1/4? No, they gave me a crisp new polymer $10 bill. To which I said thank you. And karma can be instant sometimes, because I was just going up the street from dropping them off, and I got my 5 o'clock time call. No, it was a 6 o'clock time call, because I had already been out 12 hours. I started at 6, it was now 6 in the morning. I got a 6 o'clock time call. They went out to the ferry terminal at Swartz Bay. $59 on the clock, they gave me 17. Thank you very much, now I'm going home. So I went home, cuddled with the bunnies a little bit, got on YouTube, watched everything that I was subscribed to, and then some. I even brought my computer tonight because it might be quiet. So, oh yeah. And while we're at it, I have another book, The Voices of Heaven by Frederick Pohl. The cover looks familiar. It looks like the cover of a Greg Bear book that I once read. But I don't remember reading this one by Frederick Pohl. One of my favorite authors, and I'm glad that he was prolific in his day. Is Frederick Pohl still alive? I don't even know. I think the last thing I read by him came out 10 years ago. I've just been going through the old stuff. I've been going through, the used bookstore and buying used books back when I was bankrupt. And I had to do everything on cash only. And I bought a whole bunch of reading material because I didn't know when times would get better. So I have a lot of these retread novels to read. And, maybe I'll get a chance to read more in the new year when it gets quieter. Well, right now, I'm going to see what's going on with the other guys in the zone. And I'm going to get back to you at the end of tonight, it being the Saturday night, and see you sooner. Well, it's 4:41 in the morning. By the time I get back to town, it will be for sure after 5. I'm way up on a place called Skyview, way up on top of the highlands on a mountain. And there's bits of salt on the road because up here it can get icy when it's cold. Well, the night turned out alright. I had about 300 on before this last fare, which was a good $60. And I was just, wanting to sit in a parking lot and watch some videos and just be left alone for a while. And so I took this guy to... they had the window open. I took this guy to somewhere in Esquimalt. Then I got another call in Esquimalt down on near the end of Admirals, actually, down near the water's end. And I called on the phone, and these 4 people came out. There was a guy behind me, and 3 girls, 1 girl in the front and 2 on the right in the back. And so as soon as we started driving, they asked me if I had country music in here. And to that, my reply was, I don't have any music in here because I do not know how to turn the radio on. I really don't know how to turn the radio on. And besides, the radio is shoved in there behind the meter. The meter is in front of it. And I don't know how to turn it on because it's an aftermarket radio and it doesn't have clearly marked buttons on it as to what does what. And I don't really care because I find that music in the taxi upsets my concentration, especially when there are customers in the car also talking. When I'm alone in my own car, that's different. I'll play the music, but it's my music. It's my choice of music. And these girls put on country through a phone. Now, I have an iPod, and I have headphones or earbuds, whatever you want to call them, that sound good. But those tinny little whiny speakers on cell phones suck. Okay? Music doesn't sound right through there. It sounds worse than the transistor radio I had back when I was a kid in 1973, playing AM. They sound worse than that. So, there's the girl in the front and the girl right behind in the middle there, and they've got that whiny, tinny country music playing, and they're singing at the top of their lungs to it. I can't fucking concentrate. And they're telling me to get happy. I said, look, you and I were in a different headspace. You just came out of a party. You're joyous, you're festive, you're, partying. Me, I've been driving for the last 10 hours. I've been on the road, I'm tired, I'm looking forward to the beer in my fridge. I don't care about your music, to tell you the truth. Then the girl said, well, I'll find your music for you. Well, you must like this music. It's from your time. It was, play that funky music, white boy. Not exactly my style, if you understand. So, they were singing along to some real crap music country. I'm sorry, I don't do country. I don't like it. The closest I'll get is Cowboy Junkies, and that's not really the kind of country that these people were playing. So these 2 were singing along with it, and as soon as the first girl got out, the one in the front, things got quieter. Things got a little bit more civilized and manageable. Okay. Then, I better check and see if that visa worked. Let's see now. Just making sure. $59, PIN verified, approved, thank you. Okay. Well, yeah, they're rich people. They got like a big fucking mansion like on the top of the mountain. There was a party a couple of weeks ago, and I took people to a party at the same house up at the top of the mountain. I think I mentioned it. I probably mentioned it a couple of taxi vlogs ago. I think I might even have been driving down this same road because it was in the morning hours or something like that. Whatever. Where was I going? Oh yeah, and then another girl, the girl who was on the right in the back there, then she got out and got quieter still. But then they were playing the music again, and they were talking about something and talking about something. I couldn't hear what they were talking about. The music was too loud and too tinny and too terrible. I was just trying to block the whole experience out and drive up this mountain. And she says, well, sorry for the really crappy singing, but this is my favorite song. And I'm thinking, my God, are you what, 21 years old? Shit. I don't know how the guy could stand it. He's about my age, maybe a bit older. It looks like he just married her. And she's like a little Twinkie, you know, and he's just a guy like me. It's like, you know, I couldn't take that. I couldn't stand having a girl of 22 unless she was extremely mature for her age to live with. I couldn't do it. It would be hard. I'm, you know, very, despite maybe being sometimes bombastic and brash and loud, I'm a little loud at times, yeah, but I like things nice and quiet around me.
Well, as you know, it happens sometimes that you run out of memory, and as it turns out, this little camera here has a 2 gigabyte card that already had something on it when I started making my taxi vlog 284. Well, I had just about said everything that I was going to say. I described that last fair, which took me up into the hills, and paid quite handsomely. It was really good. I had another short fare after I came back into town, or did I have 2 shorter fares? I don't really know, but by the time it was 5:30, I was good and fed up. I couldn't see anymore. I just wanted to come home, have dinner, have a beer. You know what? I think I'll have another one. It's almost New Year's. I can do that. Excuse me while I'm hoping yours is better than mine.